A good big man always beat a good little man. He has an 85+ chance to beat Canelo.
Boxing great Bernard Hopkins, a man who's seen just about everything in the sport, hasn't minced words when talking about the potential clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. With a sharp perspective of a seasoned strategist, Hopkins suggested that Canelo could be walking straight into Crawford's game plan, breaking the matchup down in his own unique way. Hopkins highlighted the risks that await Alvarez and explained why this fight may unfold far differently than many fans predict. Known for his insightful takes, Hopkins went further than just giving Crawford a shot. He estimated there's nearly an 85% chance Crawford comes out on top. This wasn't a casual remark. Coming from someone with Hopkins' depth of ring knowledge, it carried serious weight. In his view, Crawford doesn't need to go toe-to-toe proving he can absorb Canelo's power. That would only benefit Alvarez and shift the contest into a raw strength battle, something the naturally smaller Crawford shouldn't play into. Instead, Hopkins emphasized the mental side of the fight. He believes Crawford must step into the ring from round one with a focused mission, to establish that he's a sharper boxer, that Canelo's reign is fading, and that it's his time to take the crown.
He has a legitimate chance. Over 60% for his mind. If you say, Bernard, give me a number.
Give me a number.
He has an 85+ chance to beat Canelo. Why? Why? Because he's not going in there, from my understanding and what I see, and having a conversation with him years ago about what he wanted to accomplish, and now that he's here, that now he's not going in there to prove something, which will fall into Canelo's hand. He would love for him to prove something. That means you will stay there and try to prove something. But to go in there and to let him know, establish that from the first round, that I belong, without showing that I am tough. I earned my position to be here. And I want to show you, even though you're being stubborn, that your time not only have came, but it's gone.
This isn't just about stamina or toughness in the ring. It's about psychological control. Hopkins' point centers on mental dominance as much as physical ability. But what really makes his latest prediction stand out is the contrast with what he had said only a few months earlier.
Ray Robinson wanted to make history by going from 60 to 75. And he lost the fight because he couldn't come out for the 15th or the 14th or whatever round it was after the 10th, 11th, and 12th round. That's the only reason Sugar Ray Robinson lost that fight. A good big man always beat a good little man. I like the good big man. That's ridiculous. That's why we have weight classes. Size does matter. And in most cases, we get those moments in history where size didn't matter, but that's why it's history. But most of the time, it's the right call. I think he got a lot of fish to fry underneath where he's comfortable. Don't put yourself at a disadvantage, put yourself at an advantage. It's only fair. Thank you, brother.
Before making that bold 85% prediction in Crawford's favor, Hopkins had actually taken a very different stance. At one point, he described the idea of Crawford stepping up to face Canelo as downright dangerous, even life-threatening. And he wasn't just talking about a blemish on Crawford's record. Hopkins was pointing to the kind of physical damage that could alter a fighter permanently. Few understand the risks of weight jumps better than Hopkins himself. Moving up 2 full divisions to meet a naturally bigger, heavy-handed champion like Canelo isn't just a career challenge. It's a gamble with health. Every shot from Canelo carries the weight and strength of a true super middleweight. Something Crawford has never experienced firsthand. Hopkins' warning painted a stark picture. A smaller, highly skilled boxer struggling against the raw physics of a larger, stronger opponent. His long-held philosophy has always been that, all else equal, a good big man beats a good little man. That wasn't just theory for Hopkins. It was a lesson he both preached and lived inside the ring.
Great chance. He have a great chance because his heart, his talent, and also his game plan and his strategy. But Canelo is no pushover. I've watched Canelo for multiple years. Again, the best is fighting the best. And Crawford dared to be great. And this is one of the ways you do it. And you tell the world, watch, pay attention, and watch me make history. I will be one of those watching amongst millions of other people. I can't wait to, I believe, November or September. Correct.
One of the defining chapters of Bernard Hopkins' career came at age 41. We dared to leap 2 weight divisions to take on light heavyweight champion Antonio Tarver. Virtually no one gave him a chance. Hopkins was the older, smaller man stepping into a division stacked with dangerous punchers. But that night, he shocked the boxing world, delivering a clinic and outclassing Tarver. He showed that with precision and discipline, a smaller fighter could conquer a bigger one. At the same time, Hopkins never forgot just how rare and difficult such feats are to eye in his eyes. Canelo now represents that good big man. Strong, durable, battle-tested, with a granite chin, and fully adjusted to the demands of 168 pounds. Canelo has years of experience taking on and beating larger foes. From Sergey Kovalev to Gennady Golovkin, he embodies the exact challenge Hopkins once faced and overcame. Hopkins argues that Crawford's road to victory isn't about running or simply surviving. It's about imposing his own skill set early. He believes Crawford must use sharp footwork, a quick and disruptive jab, and impeccable timing to make Canelo look heavy and sluggish. The goal is psychological, forcing doubt into Canelo's mind. Each time Canelo misses with a lunge and eats a clean counter in return, the pressure builds. The trap closes tighter. Hopkins insists that if Crawford wins a mental battle in the opening rounds, the physical gap will start to shrink. A hesitant Canelo, second-guessing his every move, will find himself drawn into Crawford's kind of fight. But as the matchup approaches, skepticism around Crawford is only intensified, largely because of his most recent outing. When Crawford moved up to 154 pounds to face Israel Madrimov, many expected the same dominance he showed against Errol Spence Jr. instead. What fans saw was a hard-fought, grinding 12-round battle. Crawford still won decisively, but the highlight reel finish never came. He looked more human than ever. That performance sparked doubts. If he couldn't steamroll a junior middleweight, how could he survive against a powerhouse like Canelo? From Hopkins' perspective, though, that fight may have been a perfect dress rehearsal. It forced Crawford to dig deep, to strategize and adjust over 12 testing rounds against a clever opponent. More importantly, it may have deceived Canelo's camp into believing Crawford is hittable, frustratable, and far from invincible. If so, that miscalculation could feed right into Crawford's advantage to counter any such trap. Canelo's team has made a statement by bringing in elite sparring partners, most notably Jaron Boots Ennis, the undefeated welterweight phenom. On paper, it's a smart choice. Iron sharpens iron, and working with a young, explosive switch hitter like Ennis seems like the best way to replicate Crawford's unique style. Not everyone sees Canelo's choice as a smart move, though. Veteran trainer Greg Hackett has been openly critical, calling it a risky mistake. In his view, sparring with someone like Ennis doesn't just help you prepare, it also exposes parts of your own game. The question he raises is simple but important. Is Canelo really picking up useful tools to mimic Crawford's style, or is he unintentionally giving away pieces of his own timing, rhythm, and strategy in the process?
I mean, Jaron Ennis get from it being in with the elite, a guy who's prepared for everything. One thing you can't say about Canelo is that he hasn't seen something. Canelo's seen southpaws, he's seen tall guys, short guys, slick fighters, he's seen bulls, he's been up against everything. So you get a world of experience with a guy like Canelo. You get a guy who's in full confidence. The reason I say I wouldn't do it is because I wouldn't spar you and then here go a year later they fighting.
I mean, it doesn't, for as much as it does for Canelo, it does for Boots, though, right? If that were to be the case.
Yeah, but there's so many ways it could go. And what I'm saying is, if I was to be where Boots is right now, if one thing we can all agree on, everybody hate Boots right now. They mad at Boots, right? So wouldn't it be crazy if Canelo fought Bud and then fought Boots the next year? Wouldn't that be wild? That would be wild. I don't want you to know nothing. Like, I wouldn't want you to feel nothing that I bring to the table. Nothing. Even if it is from a sparring standpoint. And it is different, but it's still the same. It's still different. It's still dangerous. You still got to get it in. And I still got to... some part of you is going to be exposed in the sparring session. I mean, whether it's good or bad. That's the thing. It could be all good, but it's still exposed. I still know. I understand. I see it now.
In the fight game, it's rare for elite-level boxers to spar with one another before potentially meeting in the ring. That's why this unusual partnership inside Canelo's camp has raised so many eyebrows. It hints at a deeper, more calculated strategy at play, one that becomes even more intriguing when weighed against another of Hopkins' bold predictions.
They were saying that Boots Ennis sold out. He sold out his black race because he's sparring with Canelo for Crawford. The inconsistency is just incredible. Boots Ennis isn't the first black sparring partner Canelo ever had. No one said anything. Right now, Bud Crawford is Malcolm X. What happens is when you are a fanboy, it's like this guy is going to be black culture personified. It happened with Wilder, happened with Devin Haney. All right. When Canelo had other sparring partners, black sparring, no problem. They were fine with the race. Boots turns his back on the black race. It's funny because Crawford ain't even saying that shit. Crawford like, that's good work. Crawford is sparring with Lester Martinez, all kind of Mexican sparring partners, as he should. I haven't heard one person say that any of the Mexican sparring partners were turning their back on the Mexican race.
David Benavidez, the undefeated all-action Mexican monster, has long been viewed as the most dangerous challenger to Canelo's throne. For years, fans and analysts have demanded that matchup, a true clash to determine supremacy at 168 pounds. Yet the fight has never materialized. Hopkins has floated a striking idea. With the entire build-up around Canelo, Crawford's showdown is really a diversion, a way to shift focus away from the looming threat of Benavidez.
Right. For Crawford, Canelo, back to Canelo, would you rather see him fight a Terence Crawford or Benavidez?
We were talking about who?
Well, you know, the casual fan, they don't care about weight classes. They just know the names. Crawford, Canelo, they want to see it.
Crawford cares about his life. And with that fight, what do that fight do for Canelo, fighting Crawford, and Crawford beats Canelo? What do that do for Canelo? I just think that there are so many other fights to make that's realistic, it makes sense, and less life risking on top of the risk that we risk stepping in there with guys our weight. And now you want me to do something. Canelo's not coming down to 60.
No.
So here's the bigger question. Is Canelo choosing to face a smaller opponent like Crawford because it's a calculated, high-reward risk that sidesteps the more dangerous test David Benavidez represents? Looked at this way, the fight isn't just about legacy. It's also about business. Crawford offers a chance for a historic payday and a headline-grabbing event. But without the raw threat that Benavidez brings, if that's the case, then Hopkins' theory of trap becomes even sharper. Canelo might see Crawford as a legacy-defining challenge he can manage, while underestimating the drive and brilliance of an unbeaten all-time great. Hopkins isn't contradicting himself. He's laying out a complete picture. On one level, Crawford is stepping into a physically brutal assignment. The laws of size and strength are stacked against him. Boxing history warns that smaller men almost never beat bigger champions in their prime. That's the danger. But on another level, the fight plays out as a psychological chess match. This is where Hopkins' bold 85% prediction comes into play. The trap, as he sees it, is built not on overpowering Canelo, but on nullifying his advantages, breaking his rhythm, planting doubt, and making the bigger man fight on Crawford's terms. Point one path leads to a harsh reminder of the old saying, a good big man beats a good little man. The other leads to a masterpiece in strategy, a victory that will be studied as one of boxing's greatest tactical triumphs. Which way will it go when the bell rings? Is Canelo Alvarez about to walk into one of the most brilliant traps in modern boxing? Or will he prove that some mountains are simply too high to climb? That's the question that will shape both men's legacies. And that wraps things up for today's breakdown. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next one. Share your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think takes it, Canelo or Crawford? Stay tuned, and we'll catch you in the next video.